if you don't mind, let me just jump straight in and ask your thought, what went through your head and heart and gut when you heard that Micah Parsons was traded to the Green Bay Packers. Sure.
I was surprised. I didn't think it was a possibility that he would be traded. Obviously everybody's followed it. We've heard Jerry's comments on what went into that. I know that Jerry has said that they talked about possibly trading him, back before the draft. My guess is, Rich, that all these teams, they have to talk about what value they might get for any player. So I'm sure there were a lot of conversations with regards to potential trades with a lot of the players on that roster. But, it was, I guess we'll know in time, quite honestly, as to whether or not it was a good trade on the Cowboys' behalf, whether or not the Packers benefited the most from that. I think the key to it, much like all the conversation that has been around this Herschel Walker trade, especially with the Netflix doc, and Jerry mentioned when he announced the trade, it's not so much the picks, it's what you do with the picks. And so time will tell as to who benefited most, just like it did when we made the trade with Herschel and the Minnesota Vikings. But at first glance, I'm not a fan of the trade. These type players are really rare, and you're looking for guys that can rush the passer. And with those draft picks, they'll be looking for someone just like Micah. And then ultimately you come down to the same thing of having to try to work out a contract. So we'll see how that looks. But it could very well be something that I think pushes the Green Bay Packers over the top, much like the trade when we acquired Charles Haley back in 1992.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Charles Haley, Troy, because there was an ESPN article today from Don Van Natta and Jeremy Fowler and a whole host of our colleagues that say that Charles Haley would have flipped Micah off the training table if he saw him lying down on the job, even for a split second in preseason. That's part of the conversation right now as to whether Micah was still in any way, shape, or form somehow welcome in Dallas, as we're back on the ESPN Radio Network with Troy Aikman. Your thoughts on Micah in that locker room or anything like that about his welcome status in Dallas, Troy?
Well, it's a fair question. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that. And the guys now maybe on the team would come out and be a little bit more vocal as to if in fact Micah was a distraction or however he might have been as a teammate. Obviously, when he's on the roster, guys are very guarded as to what they may or may not say. There's no question that the negotiation got personal. The fact that Jerry never even spoke to the agent, and then to say that he typically doesn't negotiate with the agent, that's a first that I've ever heard of. But I sense, Rich, that at that preseason game when Micah was laying down on the training table, that might have been the final straw. And maybe it was orchestrated on Micah's part or his agent's part in trying to make it clear that they were ready to be moved. And again, what that looks like going forward for the Cowboys, what that may look like for the Packers going forward, time is about to tell. And a lot of it, too, is, Micah's an outstanding player, and if he can be as productive as he's been with the Cowboys, he's definitely going to be a key figure for this Packers team. But I didn't realize the back potentially could be more. I thought it was more a ploy as to why he wasn't practicing.
Me too.
So that's news to me, and that becomes a concern for a young guy to be dealing with a back issue.
Yeah, me too. Right, like, because I thought that was Micah positioning for tomorrow when there's a plane when there's a plane to get on. Right, like, oh, my back, it's tough for me to sit on the plane, so I'm going to stay home. And now he's in Green Bay, potentially, according to our friend Adam Schefter, needing an epidural to play against the Lions.